time for Let's Talk Laredo College with the president of Laredo College, Dr. Minita Ramirez. Dr. Ramirez, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Ruben. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Well, we've been here. We didn't go.
No, we didn't. We've been here all summer.
Did you mean welcome back to the episode or welcome back to a new semester?
Both.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Yes, welcome back. It is a new semester and so much excitement. I was curious to ask you, you've been through so many of these. You start a new semester, everything starts anew. How do you approach each semester? Do you approach it the same or differently?
Actually, things do change. I will say this, I learned this when I was a little girl. I always start every school year on the very first day with a new outfit because it's almost like that preparation of excitement. You know, you always plan for something and you always want to feel good about how you look, how you feel. And so I always start with a new outfit, if that makes any sense. But that also sets a stage for a lot of newness in the semester. And so ideally what we want to do is we take the summer, the spring, and right now we're already planning next fall. Because what we're doing is we're planning what our goals and objectives are going to be for the next academic year. This weekend I was reading an article and the new craze is going to be the 90-hour Bachelor's of Applied Science degree.
Whoa.
And it's already being tested across the country. People are already looking at what does that mean? And so we're already in those research phases for next fall. Now, I don't know if we'll be ready next fall, but certainly we're looking at it. We're also looking at a new beginning recently, and we haven't officially announced it, so I'm going to officially announce it here with you today. As I finished my fellowship with Aspen, I have until November 1st, I think, my last class. We've been accepted, Laredo College has been accepted as in the next fellowship, which is the presidents and trustees. So our trustees, who, as you know, volunteer to be trustees for our board, are also going to go through a Aspen training to help Laredo College continue to move forward, continue to plan, continue to look at what are the latest trends. Are we meeting the demands of our workforce? Are we meeting the demands of the academic programs? And so all of those things are going to come to fruition.
That's a big deal. You getting in was a big deal. Now to be able to bring the board along is another big deal. For those who aren't familiar with Aspen, perhaps tell us how that benefits, how it's benefited you, how it can benefit the board, how it benefits the college.
So the Aspen Prize is what all community colleges want to attain. Since I've been here, the very first year we were asked to apply for the Aspen Prize the first time. I think I mentioned this on one of our previous podcasts. We got through the first round and that was it. The second year I was here, we applied it. We were asked, because you have to be invited. We were invited to apply again and we did. And we made it to the second round. Then they started the second cohort of the President's Aspen Fellowship. And I was asked to apply. Well, I wasn't going to apply because we were super busy. And then I got a call from one of my mentors. And she said, you need to apply. She said in Texas, only 4 people were invited to apply. And she said, you need to apply. So I did. And, you know, we talked about this. I was accepted. I was the only community college president in Texas to be accepted. There are 50 of us. And nationwide, they asked over 300 people to apply. And only 25 of us got accepted. And so it's been an incredible year because you do a lot of exploration, not only about programming, not only about what are the best practices for certain things that we do in community colleges, but also what are the best practices in leadership. See, there's a difference between managing people and leading people. there's a difference between being a mentor and a role model and telling people what to do because you're in charge. And so as we move forward through this process, a lot of things have come to fruition. And I think it's benefited the college all the way around. There's always room for growth. And even at my age, I'm still learning. And every day I learn something. That's my mission, every day to learn something new. And to teach something new to someone else. Well, about 2 months ago, actually it was around April, we received an invitation for our school, trustees and myself, to apply for the first Texas cohort of Presidents and Trustees Aspen Fellowship. And so I talked to the board, and the board was very honored to have been invited. And they did. They all said yes, and they said, let's do it. So it kicks off this fall. We have our very first meeting next month. This month, in late September, we have our very first meeting. And so it's going to be fun.
Do they know that they?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Everybody's excited. We kept it under wraps. Friday, they finally sent us the final it's okay to announce. And so here we are.
Wow. And does that mean, can they invite the college to be an Aspen College as well?
They can. You have to apply to be an Aspen College. And then there's a rigorous 1-year evaluation of the institution. Our best practices, what do we do? How do we do professional development? There's a whole bunch of categories. And as we move through those categories, then you'll make it to the second round, you can make it to the third round, and then there's a campus visit by these people that come from Colorado to visit us. Well, we hope to get there someday.
But I'm being greedy because obviously the fact that you were an Aspen Fellow and now the board is already quite the accomplishment, but wow. That would be nice to see the college as well.
It would be wonderful if we could actually put on our website that we're an Aspen College. And so someday we hope to be a 3.0 school. There are phases. Right now I think we're at about a 2.5. There's some things we want to continue to evolve and continue to escalate as part of what we offer at Laredo College. But as we move through this process, because it is time consuming and it is thought provoking and it is something that we have to do together as an entire college community. And then as an entire community, a Laredo community as well. So everybody's gonna have to, it takes a piece of the action, and so we'll get there. I'm confident that we will.
I want to go back to what you said about being a mentor. That's interesting because I don't know that I've ever heard it phrased in such a way that makes it clear that there's a difference between a leader, manager, and then being a mentor and a role model as well. Who are some of the mentors? I mean, you don't have to mention all of them, but what for you makes somebody a mentor, and how important is it in the whole leadership scheme of things?
So I think that people have different definitions for what is a leader, what is a manager, what is a mentor, how role models are perceived. I think that a manager is someone who maintains things at a status quo, that keeps people in line, that makes sure that everything is completed. Your dots are, all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed, those kinds of things. A leader is someone who can be inspirational. And certainly to inspire people, I think you have to be visionary. Somewhat of a Renaissance person, right? Someone who can not necessarily perceive the future, but certainly who can see more in others than they see in themselves. And I think that has been a piece of work that one, I've devoted a lot of time to, but also to see it not only in my inner circle and the people that report to me and the people that I work with every day, but also how to see it in others. as a teacher, as an educator, sometimes we see that certain students or certain colleagues have certain gifts and certain opportunities, and you think, how do they get that? And are they born with that, or is that learned? And there are millions of books that you can read on whether leadership skills are something you learn or something you're born with, and there are different schools of thought. But ideally, a great leader inspires. And it inspires others to do things even when they're not getting paid to do that job. And so I don't know if that answers your question. I've been very fortunate. I've had some very strong leaders and mentors. Some I still meet with today.
Wow. You mentioned the word inspired. It really revolves around that. I mean, to be a mentor is to inspire. You've got this little plaque here behind me. And it says, to encourage somebody to greater effort, enthusiasm, or creativity to awaken a particular feeling in somebody. That's what you're saying mentor is to inspire, and that's how you would define it.
When you look at, and many of our nonprofit organizations, many of our even community leaders, they inspire others to do what they're doing. Why? Because it matters, because it's important. And maybe to the person doing the work, you think, why do you do that all the time? Why do you help, so many other organizations or so many other people? Well, because it matters, because it has value. So everybody's life is important. Everybody's life has a value and a purpose on this earth. And when you can get to the core of what is your purpose here? People, when you can find that self-awareness about what your core mission on life is, then that helps you to guide others or inspire others to find their own mission, to find their own future in what it is that they're doing. Most of the time people don't know because we don't take the time to sit quietly and listen to our own thoughts.
As the president of the college, do you have to tailor, because you don't just mentor the people under you as far as the administration, staff, and so forth, but as well as the students, do you have to tailor that role for each group, or do you think you can be a leader and a mentor at the very top and it just kind of trickles down, if that makes sense?
I think a lot of what we do is perceived, right? And I always tell people perception is greater than the truth. I've always said that. Because how you're perceived is exactly the notion that people carry with them about who you are. And there is, different people may have a different perception of you or me, and I'm sure they do, but it is when people get to speak to you, it is when people get to talk to you, it is when people reach out and say, can I have a hug? Or they show up at your front door and say, do you have 5 minutes? Typically, when somebody tells you, do you have 5 minutes? Do you have, it's because they need something. And at that point, you need to drop everything you're doing and listen. Not talk, don't give an opinion, don't give a judgment, and don't tell them what to do. Just listen. And at that point, you can start to really realize what people's core is. What is it that they're feeling? What is it that they're going through? What is it that they need for the rest of their day or just to get up through the next hour? And in some cases, it's something that for us might be simple, but for the individual, it's monumental.
Being in the public eye, though, and you talk about perception is reality, or it's more important than truth.
It's greater than the truth.
Unfortunately, being in the public eye, somebody can pick one thing, and that's their perception of you. And you really have to tune that out, and it has to become about the individual. And because you're not going to sway those people one way or the other, but you're making a difference and the individual lives. Have you come across that, dealing with as a public figure? How do you handle that?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing I did when I took the advice of Joanna Santillana, our Director of Public Information, she, first thing she told me was, don't get on social media. Because you're never going to be able to respond enough to convince everybody that your intentions are good. And she was right. I do think that while social media has a purpose, I do think that sometimes it also harms people's emotions and intentions. And even when those intentions are good. So to Joanna, I say thank you for helping me get through that very first year of that. I do LinkedIn because I think that the professional avenue that social media outlet has taken has been extremely helpful. There are immense numbers there's so many publications and so many articles from my colleagues that are posted there, which help me become not only a better educator, but a better leader. And so I think that was the first thing. The second part of your question is, how do I deal with it? I just know that I'm not going to convince 100% of the people all the time. And that all I can do is my very best. And if my intentions are genuine, and if my intentions are to do the best that I can with the information that I have, then I've done my job.
Yeah. And I've known a lot of leaders that do follow social media, and it just makes you very reactionary. And you're talking about a percentage of the people that is minute versus what people actually think about you or know about you. And so as a leader, you really do have, that's sound advice. You have to stay off because you don't want to react to social media because that's not everybody's opinion. And anybody can get on social media, and it's different than LinkedIn for sure.
And a knee-jerk reaction is not always the best. Sometimes you want to react to something without really giving it that thought. I as part of a lot of the leadership training I've done, I always tell people, do some self-reflection. Before you speak, think. Because what you say has meaning. And if your persona is true, then the value of the words that you use every day need to mean something. Why would you say something if nobody's going to listen? And people will listen when your word is honest, truthful, and if you're telling people for their own good, they're going to listen to you. Sometimes I tell people the truth and they don't want to hear it. And so usually I'll preface my conversations with, are you sure you want me to give my opinion? Because, as my friend would say, mi pecho no es bodega, right? She always tells me that, because if you're going to ask me, I'm going to tell you. But I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth, the way I see it. And it may not be the reality, which will give people the opportunity to then tell me why they're doing the things they're doing. So many times in our society, people say things that are hurtful to others without really thinking. Assumptions are made based on very little information. And when you do that, you hurt others. And I think at the moment we start intentionally saying things to hurt someone else, then the value of our persona is completely diminished.
Being a mentor is doing what you're saying. A lot of people appreciate that about you when you do that. When they know they're going to hear from the truth from you, even though they don't want to hear it, right, they're still going to call you. And I think that's part of being a mentor, isn't it, as well?
I think so. I've been very blessed in my life. I've also been ridiculed and made fun of. I mean, some people say I'm Pollyannish. Some people, and that's okay. But what you see is what you get. I'm very driven by my faith. And, and I do believe that my purpose on this earth has to have more meaning than something as frivolous as, you know, what I'm having for dinner or what shoes I'm wearing today. It's not that on the surface for me. For some people it is. People will ask me, where did you buy your purse? Well, sometimes I may buy a nice purse at Polly Adams or Dillard's, and sometimes I buy it at Target. You know, it's what I like. Somebody asked me that question the other day, and I was wearing some sandals. They said, where did you get your sandals? They're so cute. I said, at Target. And they looked at me and I said, hey, I economize too. We all do, but just because I bought them at a store, at a discount store that isn't a name brand store like that, doesn't mean it doesn't have value. Everything in our midst has value. It's how we perceive it, it's how we present it, and certainly it's how we tell the story. And I think the story is critical. The story of this college is so amazing, and few people know it. Most people don't even know why Laredo College is all the way out here. I've had people ask me, why don't you move the school? It's so far. Because the value of this school is in its location.
Last question on being a mentor. Can you be a leader and not be a mentor and still be a good leader?
I don't know that you can split that, because a good leader is always going to have the best intentions of their subordinates, of the people that look to them for help and guidance. And I think if not, I think there's going to be something missing. I think you'll be able to lead your company because it's your company and you're going to make the money. And so does that make you a good leader? Well, yeah. But if you read the story of some amazing leaders, Lee Iacocca, I mean, when you talk to the people that reported to him, they talk about how he was so inspirational to them to do the work that was required to make their company huge. And it was their company because everybody had stock in the company.
Yeah.
And everybody had a buy-in. And there's so many people like that. Henry Ford, who revolutionized the car industry, was an incredible person and individually gave so much of himself. You talk about Michael Dell. Michael Dell is an incredible leader, but he's also a mentor and has given so much of himself to make our communities better.
And there's really no way around it, because if you say, well, I'm going to hire those people to be mentors, you still have to be the leader to those mentors. So really there's no way around it, is there?
Correct. And remember that people are only going to rise to the level of your expectation. And as a leader, if you expect your folks to, or your team or your people to be mediocre, that's where they're going to go. But when you expect excellence of everybody, then that's where people will go. And it's not just excellence for the institution or the business, it's excellence for themselves. When people learn to respect themselves, they learn to respect everything around them. And I think that's a very critical point. Why we do what we do is at the core of all of our mission. Why do you want to be the best whatever? The best welder, the best banker, the best doctor, the best teacher, whatever it is, the best TV producer. Why? Because it matters to you. Because the work that you do has value. Because the message that you're sending, the product that you're delivering, the teaching that you're doing has value not just to you, but to the people around you.
let's put a bow on this and wrap up with the new semester, which we touched a little bit on, but it really is, as you said before I start, new opening day, but outfit for the beginning of the new semester. It starts with a lot of things, convocation, then you've got the budget approval, you get evaluated, and so now that all of that has happened, any thoughts on all, any of those particular things, and now what for the rest of the semester?
Well, thank God all that is over for starters, but I do think that for us, people say, don't you take vacation? I don't, not in the summer, because we have all these things that we're getting ready for. The budget approvals, our tax rate, our convocation to bring all faculty back. And while we have faculty working in the summer, it's not all the faculty. All of the staff is working all summer long, getting things ready, cutting trees, fixing. With this heat, it's very difficult to keep the campus green and beautiful, and yet our team does a great job. We find the solutions that we need for the beginning of the year. And so what is here? Well, we have a couple of new programs. Our construction management is off and running. Our forensic technician program is off and running. Our logistics program is off and running. Those three programs have really, really taken off. And our culinary arts program has really taken off. And there's room for growth. And there's room for growth in all of our programs. We're finishing up the facilities, the remodel of the Arechiga Hall and the Lamar Bruni Vergara Environmental Center on this campus. And at the South Campus, the Raquel Gonzalez Automotive Center is almost completely done. We're missing a couple of little things, but it's done. And then, what's the next phase? Our strategic plan is in place. We finished that last year, and we've been able to get through the first year of that. We're finishing up our SACS fifth year review, which will be submitted in 2 weeks. And then we're also finishing up our master plan for the next 10 years of the college for both campuses. And so that master plan will probably be taken to the board November 7th and for final approval. And that's going to determine the future of Laredo College. And so along with that is new programs, new ideas for what is the future learning for our community. And like I said, the possible 90-hour Bachelor's of Applied Science degree is real.
Yeah. I don't know I wanted to kind of talk about that, but we could save that.
We'll save that until I have more information.
Okay.
Let me continue to do the research, and certainly I will be at my last Aspen class next week. And I know that that's part of the discussion that we're going to have as presidents from across the country. And that'll be a very interesting conversation. And then I can come back and we can have a conversation about what are people saying about that 90-hour Bachelor's of Applied Science degree across the country.
Sounds good. Sounds interesting too. Look forward to that. Dr. Ramirez, any final words or final thoughts?
Well, just want to tell our students and our community that Laredo College is still committed to excellence. We are providing the best quality education that is extremely affordable and certainly caring for the whole student. Take advantage of your meal plans. Take advantage of your 8-week sessions and your 4-week sessions. Get through your programs. Go to class. Be present. And be here. Be on campus. The more interaction you have with people face to face, the stronger person you're going to be. Because it is in building those relationships, talking about mentorship and leadership, it's building those relationships face to face. It's shaking somebody's hand. And it's being able to make sure that the person you're interacting with is real and understanding what you're saying. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to stand up and shake somebody's hand, because you deserve that respect and so do they.
Dr. Ramirez, thank you for being the leader of Laredo College, and thank you for being a mentor to many.
Thank you.